Thank you for joining us. This is Galaxy News. The headlines. Justice Binta Yaku of an Abuja Federal High Court fixes a December 1 for ruling on the bail applications of the director of Radio Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Senator Shehu Sani says Nigeria ranks third among countries with highest number of migrants crossing the Mediterranean Sea. International scene, DR Congo appoints opposition lawmaker Badi Banga as new prime minister. Thanks for staying with us. I am Vivian Oguche. We begin with reports that an Abuja Federal High Court has adjourned ruling on a bail application of the director of Radio Biafra and the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, to the 1st of December. The charges of treasonable felony have been the basis of Mr. Kanu's continued detention since October 15, 2015. And to that effect, the court presided over by Justice Binta Yaku received applications for his unconditional release on Wednesday. Counsel to the defendant, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, filed the bail application supported by a 56-paragraph affidavit along with 35 exhibits to back up the call for the defendant's immediate and unconditional release.
But the application for bail is very exhaustive and comprehensive. Our written address and affidavit in support of same is very exhaustive. We adopted it and highlighted some issues. And also some exhibits attached to our application, which ranges from the photographs of the unarmed and innocent IPOB members they massacred.
Counsel to the defendant also said that he is preparing contempt charges against key actors in his client's case.
You recall that on 17th of December 2015, His Lordship Honorable Justice Ademola granted a director he should be released unconditional. I mean, the first defendant, Nnamdi Kanu. That order up to today has not been obeyed, and the order of court must be obeyed.
Apart from charges of treasonable felony, the defendant also has a 6-count amended charge that includes the possession of contraband goods preferred against him by the prosecution. Senator Shehu Sani, representing APC, Kaduna, says that Nigeria ranks third among countries with the highest number of migrants crossing the Mediterranean Sea to Europe. Sani said this in Abuja on Wednesday when the ambassador of the European Union to Nigeria, Mr. Michel Arian, paid him a courtesy visit in his office.
The consequences of our young men and women moving away from Nigeria through the Sahara and trying to get to Europe is that 3 things happen. Is that they either end up in the hands of terrorists in Libya, or many of them end up as drug traffickers, or they become sex slaves when they cross over to Europe. It is of concern that Nigeria, being a very important and leading country in the African continent, must lead the drive to bring this issue to global spotlight.
Senator Sani urged the European Union, EU, to rescue and empower migrants to enable them serve their country and the continent in general. Responding, the EU ambassador to Nigeria, Michel Arian, said it was sad to see young people losing their lives by embarking on the journey through the desert.
It's really sad to see those young people, risking their life, losing their life just by starting this terrible journey through the desert and then through the Mediterranean Sea. And we really must do something together. And it's indeed something that the EU is doing with a few priority countries of Africa, and in particular with Nigeria, given simply the demographic weight of Nigeria.
It said that the EU would recognize the rights of Nigerians to reside freely in EU countries, noting that the Union would do its best to reduce the root cause of this problem by creating job opportunities. In other news, a bill which seeks to establish a Poverty Alleviation Commission as a statutory body to coordinate and monitor all matters related to poverty alleviation in Nigeria has passed third and final reading on the floor of the Senate. The passage of the bill is sequel to the clause-by-clause considerations of the report of the Committee on National Planning, Economy and Poverty Eradication.
That an attempt is boldly being made in passing into law a bill that puts to test the justifiability of economic and social provisions as contained in both Section 16, that's economic objectives, and 17, social objectives, contained in Chapter 2 on the directive principles of state policy.
Senators mostly spoke in favor of the bill. In his remark, the President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, said the bill was a welcome development.
A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Poverty Eradication Commission and for other matters connected therewith 2016 third reading. This bill is now read the third time and passed.
The commission would also be made up of 5 directorates to be headed by a Director General under the supervision of a chairman and 6 other members from each of the 6 geopolitical zones. In other news, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Muniru Gwazo, on Wednesday assured investors of his resolve to deepen the market through the implementation of the 10-year master plan. The DG disclosed this during an interactive session with the House of Representatives Committee on Capital Market, chaired by Tajuddin Yusuf. Details in this package.
Addressing the committee, the SEC boss told the lawmakers that they have also been vigorously pursuing capital market mandate, which is investors' protection in capital markets development. Also, in his efforts to clarify issues on the 4.5 billion naira wage bill raised last week, the SEC DG explained that the Commission has judiciously utilized its merger resources despite various challenges facing the country.
Of course, we see SEC as a more stronger institutions. Yes, we are going through difficult times because the market is not where we expected to be. But it's a reflection of the state of the economy. It's a reflection, of the state of the world economy. It's not only in Nigeria. If you look at other countries too, they are going through difficult times.
In his pre-hearing address, Chairman Tajuddin Yusuf, who presided over the session, underscored the importance of capital market on the nation's socio-economic development, adding that too much emphasis on portfolio investment in the past was responsible for the crash of the market and also negatively impacted the nation's economy.
Justice must not only be done, but must be seen as done. And the intention of this committee from day one is to make sure we see how we can deepen the market and make it more viable, robust, and so as to further encourage investors to make Nigeria capital market the preferred destination. World. West Federated States gather every month to share oil allocation. Apart from Nigeria, we are where we are because we have not deepened our capital market effectively, and it's not yet, I'm yet to see MTF as capital market component.
On the strength of his workforce and how many staff he has recruited so far, vis-a-vis measures aimed at enhancing service delivery, Gwazo disclosed that the Commission has recruited specialists to fill key offices, including risk management.
You're watching Galaxy News this hour. A short break now. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
What a perfect date. You couldn't add any more to it. Or could you? Some additions aren't good.
I guess this is good night.
Why add more when you don't need to?
Wait.
That's why when we make Amstel Malta, we use less sugar while keeping its full premium flavor. Amstel Malta, all the taste with less sugar.
it! Kill him now! Kill him!
You're welcome back. Now, the police public relations officers in Olumuyiwa Adejobi has debunked the lynching of a 7-year-old boy, despite the fact that the video of the incident has gone viral on social media. In an exclusive interview with Galaxy News, Adejobi said no report of such incident has been reported to the police. However, he said the Commissioner of Police, Fatai Owosheni, had ordered the DPO in the area to thoroughly investigate the matter.
We want to say without missing words that for now we have not established such a case. We don't have it on record, either in Ogun State or Lagos State or even in Zone 2 generally. Sincerely, there's no how such an incident will occur and nobody will have the record. At least the DPO should have the record.
He also condemned jungle justice in its entirety.
Fine, we don't support jungle justice. Jungle justice is not good in any way. We condemn jungle justice in totality. So we want to appeal to Nigerians to please, if they have such message or such news, they just need to confirm from one person or from another source or the other before they start broadcasting such news. We don't spread bad news.
Adejobi called on members of the public, especially the youths, to be very cautious even as Yuletide draws nearer. Now, as the 7-day warning strike declared by the national body of the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU enters the second day today, members of the union in Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, are divided as some lecturers at the university actually boycotted the nationwide strike. Meantime, the management of the institution says it will continue with the 2015-2016 first semester examination, which should have been suspended following the union's directive to embark on a warning strike. A correspondent, Olu Alebio, filed the report.
The Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, has until now been at the forefront of the ASU struggle in the country. Hence, to those entering the campus of the institution following the declaration of the one-week warning strike by the national body of ASU, the expectation would have been to meet a school where academic activities would have been paralyzed. However, while ASU no work order continues, students of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, were busy writing their exams. The institution's authorities say they have decided to bypass the ASU directive in the interest of the student, and as a result of the peculiar situation, the school has found itself with a delay in its academic calendar.
To do fence mending, we have to give some consideration to our students. And in giving this consideration, we are bending backwards to accommodate this examination, in spite of the fact that we are aware that there is a national warning strike.
We are very much aware of the fact that ASU, wants everybody to go, their members to go on strike, a warning strike, for 1 week. But you see, in every situation, there is always an exception. Ours is an exception in the sense that we have lost a lot of grounds, and we must recover all those grounds because most of our other colleagues in the other universities, are in their own second semester. Some have even finished their exams, and we are here in the first semester writing the exams.
This decision seems to have caused a division within the ranks of the ASU members in the university, with some lecturers going with the decision of the management, while some have vowed to keep to the no-work directive of the national body of ASU.
Really, at our meeting on Monday, we all agreed that whoever would not want to continue with the examination should write the Vice Chancellor. And up to today, nobody had written.
From the National ASU was not directed to us. But as faithful ASU members, we still consider it at our Congress. And the decision of that Congress for that day was that since we were not communicated officially, the referendum to go on strike or not was not before us.
The declaration of the strike by the academic union seems to have further exposed the crisis that is going on in the university.
The allegation raised against the suspended executive. And I think the suspended executive should just face the panel, and then if they are not found wanting, then it will be resolved.
Then even in our Congress yesterday, we resolved that we will not disturb anybody from holding their exam. You go by your own conscience.
As it is, there are two factions of ASU in the university, with one led by a caretaker committee and another led by the embattled chairman of the union in the school.
In Kwara State, Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed has sworn in Transition Implementation Committees, TIC, to man local government areas in the state. The committees were given the mandate to clear the backlog of salaries and pension immediately. They were also asked not to misappropriate funds. Just last week, the tenure of elected chairmen of 16 local government areas in the state expired. The Transition Implementation Committees would pilot the affairs of local government areas until next year, when election into these positions will be conducted.
Established that local governments, being the closest to the people, are uniquely positioned to positively impact on the lives of citizens, especially those at the grassroots. Today's swearing of newly appointed chairmen or chairpersons of the TIC in each of the 16 local governments signals our resolve to reorganize this tier of government in the interest of the people.
The governor also asked the people to pay their tax regularly to enable government to pay for public services.
Your watchword at all times. Shun ostentation and avoid any conduct capable of calling your integrity into question. My government stands ready to support you through this difficult process of rescuing our local governments with the necessary resources and guidance in this admittedly challenging journey.
The chairman, Ilorin East Local Government Transition Implementation Committee, promised that they will discharge their duties with utmost commitment.
This is that the time we assume office, there are a lot of challenges to us. By God's grace, we will not disappoint you. We will abide by the rule, inshallah. Thank you, and God bless you.
In the meantime, Benue State Governor Samuel Otom says those criticizing the planned construction of a cargo airport by his administration are doing so out of mischief. Otom made this known while speaking to journalists on the sidelines of the National Economic Council meeting held at the Presidential Villa on Thursday. Clarifying gray areas of the initiative, the governor maintained that the airport is a public-private sector initiative that has nothing to do with resources of the state. He said the airport will further open up Benue and adjoining states for development.
Those who are expressing reservations on the construction of the cargo airport in Makurdi, Benue State, are expressing it either out of ignorance or out of mischief.
Governor Otom said his administration is collaborating with the federal government to ensure effective security across the state.
The cargo airport is purely a private initiative by a consortium. Benue State government is not going to pay 1 naira. How can I go to construct an airport when I cannot pay salaries as at when due? There is no need for that.
The planned construction of a 28 billion naira cargo airport by Benue State government has been generating diverse comments from the people of the state. While some see the initiative as a welcome development, others say it is a ploy to squander the state resources by the state government. Kehinde Adeleye, the Zonal Commanding Officer of the Federal Road Safety Corps on 5, comprising Anambra, Edo, and Delta
The zonal
states,
commanding
has
officer
promised
who
to
arrived to meet
intensify
the march.
patrols for motorists to travel safely during Yuletide. He made the disclosure in Warri when he paid road safety marshals a sensitization visit. A correspondent, Dele Fasofa, the report.
The zonal commanding officer who arrived to meet the marshals in a keep faith session later addressed the officers before fielding questions from newsmen on safety.
The priority of which will be our plans for the Ember month, which we are already in. Our patrol programs, our public enlightenment plans, and everything we need to do to make sure that we keep the road safe for the Christmas and New Year celebrations. And the advice is for each and every one of us to take our safety personal.
On his part, the Delta State Coordinator, Federal Road Safety Corps, Mr. Dixon Amormare, said plans are underway to cover the entire zone during the Yuletide season, as the zonal commander promised zero tolerance.
Well, just like you've heard from our zonal commanding officer, we have a plan, and hopefully by the third week of December, usually we're all in Asaba.
It has become a tradition for us to mount what we call Operation Zero Tolerance for crashes. And when we do that, we mobilize all available logistics and personnel.
Meanwhile, if the Road Safety Agency keeps to its promise of intensifying patrols during the Yuletide, it will help reduce crashes on the roads.
This is Galaxy News. International news is up next.
Tonight on the international scene, U.S. President Barack Obama has held talks with close ally Angela Merkel on a last visit to Germany before he hands over to his successor, Donald Trump. As he arrived in Berlin late Wednesday night, Mr. Obama and the German Chancellor issued a joint statement strongly defending globalization. They said that with the world economy developing faster than ever, cooperation between nations was vital. Mr. Obama is meeting other European leaders before he leaves Berlin. He is expected to hold talks with UK Prime Minister Theresa May and the leaders of France, Italy, and Spain on Friday before flying to Peru. Mr. Obama and Mrs. Merkel have forged a strong partnership over the years, even surviving the revelation that American spies had listened to her mobile phone calls. In the meantime, one day before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's first meeting with a foreign leader, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, Japanese officials say they have not finalized when or where in New York it will take place, who would be invited, or in some cases whom to call for answers. Uncertainty over the talks shows the difficulties in turning Trump from a freewheeling businessman into a sitting president with a watertight schedule and a fully functioning administration by his inauguration on January the 20th next year. Japanese and U.S. officials said on Wednesday that the State Department had not been involved in planning the meeting, leaving the logistical and protocol details that normally would be settled far in advance still to be determined. The meeting was only agreed to last week, and Trump and his advisors have been busy in meetings at his headquarters in Manhattan's Trump Tower in recent days to work out who gets which job in the new administration. While world leaders sometimes hold loosely planned bilateral meetings at regional summits, it is unusual for foreign leaders to hold high-level diplomatic talks in the United States without detailed planning. Abe is on his way to an Asia-Pacific summit in Peru. Staying on international, saying the U.S.-backed offensive to crush Islamic State in its last major city stronghold in Iraq entered a second month on Thursday as forces arrayed against the hardline Sunni group sought finally to seal off Mosul from all sides. The militants have been steadily retreating from areas around Mosul into the city since the battle started on October 17 with air and ground support from a U.S.-led coalition. An elite army unit, the Counter-Terrorism Service, breached the city's eastern limits for the first time 2 weeks ago. Other army units have yet to enter from the northern and the southern sides. Another breakthrough came on Wednesday when Iranian-backed militias announced the capture of an airbase west of Mosul, part of their campaign to choke off the routes between the Syrian and Iraqi parts of the Caliphate Islamic State declared in 2014. The capture of the Tal Afar base also offers the mainly Shiite forces a launch pad for operations against Islamic State targets inside Syria and highlights the potential for the Mosul operation to reshape strategic power across northern Iraq. And finally, on the international scene tonight, DR Congo's president has named an opposition lawmaker as prime minister under a controversial power-sharing deal that effectively extends President Joseph Kabila's term in office. Sami Badibanga will be the country's next prime minister according to a presidential decree read on state television. Paving the way for his nomination, former Premier Augustin Matata resigned on Monday. The move is part of an October deal between the government and fringe opposition groups that was slammed by the main opposition coalition as a Kabila ploy to remain in office. The deal, which emerged, followed a national dialogue aimed to calm soaring political tensions, but will extend Kabila's term to at least late 2017. He was due to leave office next month. Among his first talks on taking office will be to organize elections in the vast country, a former Belgian colony which has one of Africa's richest mineral reserves but has been racked by unrest, misrule, and corruption since independence.
That does it for us here. Thanks a lot for watching. Do join us at 10 p.m. for more reports. I am Vivian Oguche.
Bold out of the blues. The third annual 2016 Africa Meets Reggae and World Music International Festival drops with a bang. Join the fun train, the People Show, on Saturday, the 26th of November 2016 at Hockey Pitch, National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos at 6 p.m. Check out the parade. Two-Face Idibia, Victor Essett and the Mandators, Nkuli Dube, Lucky Dube's daughter, South Africa, Battle Ranking, LJ USA, Shay Shay, Hasuma Wonders, King Wadada, Red Fire, Ghana, Orisha Femi, Sweat Reggae Band, Malaika, Fresh of KC and Fresh, Small Doctor, St. Peter's, Captain Blaze, Iles Mama, Ghana, Big Bob, Sierra Leone, and